I'm hearing a lot of talk about Blue Jays playoff opponents and playoff rotations and playoff this and playoff that. Allow me to be a voice of caution. For those of you getting comfortable with Toronto's lead atop the American League East, let me relate a horror story ripped from the pages of Blue Jay history. The year was 1987, and the Jays were battling the Detroit Tigers tooth and nail down the stretch for the AL East title. On September 24th, with 10 games remaining, the Tigers came to Toronto for a 4-game series, trailing the Jays by a half a game. Toronto proceeded to win the first 3 games, and Old Exhibition Stadium was aflame on Sunday for that series finale, with the Jays holding a 3.5-game lead with 7 games to play. Toronto was poised to go 4.5 up, leading 1-0 going into the 9th inning, but Kirk Gibson's home run off Tom Henke let the air out of that balloon. The Tigers eventually won in the 13th. Thus began the most tortured week in Blue Jay history. The Milwaukee Brewers followed the Tigers into town and beat Toronto 3 straight. But the Jays still took a 1-game lead into Detroit on the final weekend of the season. A 3-game showdown against the Tigers. The Tigers got to Toronto starter Jim Clancy early and won the opener 4-3 to pull even. On Saturday, Mike Flanagan pitched 11 innings for the Jays and Jack Morris tossed 9 innings for the Tigers, who eventually won it 3-2 in the 12th on a ground ball that went between shortstop Manny Lee's legs. On the Sunday, still with a chance to tie for the division title and force a playoff game, Jimmy Key limited the Tigers to 3 hits over 8 innings, but one of those hits was a Larry Herndon wind-blown fly ball that barely made the seats in left. It was the only run of the game. The two teams had played 7 games against each other over the last 10 days of the season, and each game was won by 1 solitary run. For Toronto, it was like death from 1,000 paper cuts. So be warned, such is the cruelty of September baseball. For Post Media, this is Ken Fidlin of the Toronto Sun with the Blue Jays.